Most people wake up every day, follow the same routine, scroll through distractions, complain about their circumstances, and then wonder why nothing changes. Mediocrity isn't a curse, it's a choice. And from a Stoic's perspective, it's a life lived far from reason, discipline, and purpose. The truth? The average person fears discomfort more than they desire greatness. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, ruled the most powerful empire on earth, yet wrote to himself daily, reminding his soul not to slip into the comfort of mediocrity. That same battle is what you're in today. Before we go deeper, don't forget to like and subscribe to support this journey and help us grow. Stick with me till the end. This one might just change the way you see your life. Number 1. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Comfort is seductive. It whispers in your ear to stay in bed 5 more minutes, to avoid the hard conversation, to procrastinate on your goals. And because it's easy, most people choose it every day. Stoicism teaches us that the good life isn't about ease, but about excellence. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." The reason most people stay mediocre is because they don't challenge themselves. When life gets tough, they retreat. But discomfort is the forge of greatness. Just like lifting weights tears muscle to build strength, stepping outside your comfort zone shapes your character. Yet most avoid it, choosing the illusion of safety. Take someone who wants to start a business. Instead of acting, they research endlessly, convincing themselves they need more preparation. In reality, they're scared of failing. But failure is not the enemy. Comfort is. Stoics faced war, exile, and death with calm because they trained themselves to endure. And we can too. Every time you run from discomfort, you reinforce your limits. But when you walk toward it, you stretch them. Growth lives just beyond what's comfortable. Mediocrity survives by staying exactly where it is. Number 2, they chase pleasure over purpose. Stoicism teaches that a life chasing pleasure is a life wasted. Yet that's where most people live. Endless entertainment, junk food, validation from likes and followers. It's a life driven by impulse, not intention. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Most people scroll for hours, numbing themselves from reality, avoiding meaningful action. Mediocrity thrives in pleasure-seeking because pleasure requires no effort. But purpose does. Purpose demands sacrifice, clarity, and action, all things the average person avoids. Think of the man who spends hours gaming or binge-watching Netflix, but complains about being broke or unfulfilled. It's not a lack of time, it's a lack of direction. He's using pleasure as a shield from responsibility. A Stoic would tell him, live according to reason, not impulse. Living with purpose means aligning your actions with your values. It means doing what's hard because it's right. That's what separates the great from the mediocre. The great suffer for something bigger. The mediocre escape into what feels good now. Number 3, lack of self-discipline and control. The average person lacks discipline because they've never trained it. They wait to feel motivated instead of acting with principle. But Stoicism is about leading yourself, especially when it's hard. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter." Discipline means doing what's necessary, even when you don't feel like it. Most people skip workouts, procrastinate on goals, and give in to distractions. Not because they're incapable, but because they're unwilling. Discipline isn't about punishment, it's about direction. A student who studies every day, not because they enjoy it, but because they want to master their craft, will outpay someone relying on mood. A content creator who posts consistently, even when views are low, will beat the one who quits after a week. Success respects effort, not excuses. Stoics train daily, mentally and physically. They practiced restraint in a world full of temptations. If you want to rise above mediocrity, build discipline like a muscle. Start small. Do what you say you'll do. Your self-respect depends on it. Number 4, they fear judgment and failure. Most people live in fear of what others might think, so they conform, stay quiet, and suppress their potential. But Stoicism teaches us to be indifferent to judgment. Epictetus reminds us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Mediocrity is the result of choosing popularity over authenticity. People stay stuck because they're afraid to be different, afraid to fail in public, afraid to be seen trying. But the Stoics embraced failure as feedback and saw external opinion as noise. Imagine someone who dreams of becoming a writer, but never publishes anything because they fear criticism. In doing so, they deny the world their voice and deny themselves growth. Meanwhile, someone else, less talented but more courageous, takes the leap and builds a life they love. To escape mediocrity, you must be willing to be misunderstood, to be doubted, to fail openly. A Stoic doesn't fear what others think because their compass isn't outside, it's inside. The only person you answer to is yourself. Number 5, they refuse to take responsibility. This is the real reason people stay average. They blame everything but themselves. The economy, their childhood, their boss, their partner. Stoicism crushes this mindset. It says, own your life. Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Mediocrity thrives in blame. Greatness begins with ownership. The Stoics didn't waste energy on what they couldn't control. They focused entirely on their actions and reactions. If something went wrong, they asked, what can I do about it? Think of the person who blames their job for their unhappiness but never tries to build a skill or apply elsewhere. Or the one who says, I don't have time, while spending hours on their phone. These are not victims, they're volunteers. When you take full responsibility, everything changes. You stop waiting, you start doing. You realize that your future depends on you. Not luck, not fate, not someone else's approval. That's when mediocrity dies and excellence begins. Number 6, they don't reflect on their lives. Self-reflection is rare today. Most people are so busy doing that they forget to think. The Stoics made reflection a daily practice. At night, Marcus Aurelius would review his thoughts and actions to correct course. Without reflection, people repeat the same patterns, and mediocrity becomes a cycle. Instead of asking, am I living well? People ask, what's trending? They let life lead them instead of leading life. But self-awareness is the first step toward growth. If you never examine your thoughts, your fears, your habits, you'll never evolve beyond them. Think of someone stuck in toxic relationships. They repeat the same behaviors, never ask why, and blame others. But a Stoic would pause, ask what role they're playing, and decide how to improve. Mediocrity is often just unexamined living. Reflection is like a mirror for the mind. It's how you identify your flaws, align with your values, and course correct. Most people avoid it because it forces them to face truths they've been running from. But that's exactly where growth begins. Number 7, they prioritize speed over depth. We live in a fast-paced world. Everyone wants results now. Fast money, instant fame, shortcuts to success. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. Slow down, go deep, master your craft. Mediocrity is often a result of chasing speed over substance. People want to read 100 books, but understand none. They want to hack their way to wealth without building real skills. But what's quick is rarely strong. A Stoic knows that the tree which grows slowly develops the deepest roots. It's not about quantity, it's about depth. Take 2 creators. One posts random content every day, hoping for viral hits. The other spends weeks mastering storytelling, refining their message, building consistency. Who wins long term? The second. Depth always beats noise, but depth requires patience, and that's something mediocrity cannot afford. Excellence comes from repetition, discipline, and a commitment to going deep, even when no one's watching. You don't become great by speeding through life. You become great by mastering the fundamentals. The Stoics understood that deeply, and that's why they endured. Number 8, they avoid responsibility for their emotions. Another reason people stay mediocre, they blame others for how they feel. He made me angry. She ruined my day. But the Stoics believed your emotions are your responsibility. Epictetus taught that it's not what happens that matters, but how you respond to it. Most people are emotionally reactive. They lash out, complain, hold grudges, all while thinking they're victims of circumstance. But that mindset keeps them small. Mediocrity feeds on emotional immaturity. The Stoics, on the other hand, train themselves to respond with reason, not reaction. Imagine someone who's always offended. Every opinion that contradicts theirs is an attack. Every failure is someone else's fault. How can they grow when they're trapped by their own mind? A Stoic would say, master your inner world or it will master you. Emotional control is a superpower. It gives you clarity when others panic. It helps you lead when others follow. And most importantly, it makes you anti-fragile, stronger under pressure. Mediocre people fear pressure. Stoics become better because of it. Number 9, they wait for permission to act. Mediocre lives are often delayed by one thing: waiting. Waiting for the right time, the perfect plan, someone's approval. But Stoicism says, act now with what you have. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow. Most people dream more than they do. They wait for motivation, the economy to change, someone to give them a green light. But that wait is deadly. It creates a life of potential never realized. Stoics believed in action rooted in principle, not perfection. Think of the person who wants to write a book but says, I'm not ready. 5 years later, they're still saying the same thing. Meanwhile, someone else with less talent but more courage publishes and wins. Waiting is just fear in disguise. You don't need permission to improve your life. You need courage. Mediocrity waits for life to happen. Greatness makes it happen. The Stoic doesn't delay. They move forward, imperfectly but persistently. And that's the difference. Number 10, they don't have a philosophy of life. Most people never ask, what do I stand for? What's my code? What's my North Star? Without a guiding philosophy, they drift. That's why Stoicism is so powerful. It gives you a framework for living. Mediocrity, by contrast, is a life lived by default. When you lack principles, you're swayed by trends, emotions, and other people's opinions. You react rather than led. The Stoics had a clear code: live with virtue, reason, and alignment with nature. Everything was judged by that compass. Think of someone whose values change depending on who they're with. Around one group, they're disciplined. Around another, they're reckless. That's not character, that's camouflage. But a Stoic remains the same under pressure, temptation, or isolation. If you want to rise above mediocrity, define your values. Build your life around principles, not popularity. When the world shakes, your philosophy will keep you grounded. The average person lives moment to moment. The Stoic lives by a timeless code. The Stoics didn't believe in excuses. They believed in action, in courage, in reason. And if you want to rise above the sea of mediocrity, you must live intentionally. Choose discomfort. Choose purpose. Choose discipline. Own your life fully. If this hit home, don't forget to like and subscribe to help our journey. And remember, the Stoic path isn't easy, but it's worth it. See you in the next one.